This week, a major media outlet published a story that told millions of readers that the federal government had already locked in the regulations that are going to force electric trucks down the throats of the trucking industry. They said the clock was already ticking, that the mandates were already law, that the days of using diesel fuel were numbered. And not one person in that newsroom bothered to pick up the phone to verify the facts or even thought to call a truck driver for an interview before they hit publish on that story. Now here's what they got wrong and didn't publish in that story. The facts. Those regulations don't exist anymore. The Trump administration wiped them off the books 2 months ago. I've got the government's own paperwork right here. I'm going to show you exactly what the media got wrong, what it means for you, your truck, your payload, and your paycheck, and why this story matters to every single person watching this video right now. Whether you're a truck driver, a farmer, or anyone else that uses diesel fuel. Now stay with me. This one is important. So here's how this story actually started. Jay Leno, comedian, former Tonight Show host, and one of the most famous car collectors in the world. Well, he recently took a Tesla semi-truck for a test drive, and the spin media ran with it like it was the second coming of trucking. Now look, the Tesla Semi is a real truck. It exists. Companies are buying them, and some of the technology in that truck is genuinely impressive. I'll give it that. But here's where I have a problem. That reporter for Yahoo Finance watched a celebrity take a joyride and turned that opinion piece into a warning shot aimed directly at the livelihoods of professional truck drivers across this country. They talked about the battery range. They talked about a 1,000,000-mile battery lifespan. They talked about Amazon and FedEx and DHL going electric. And then, buried in the middle of that opinion piece, they told you that the government had already set the mandate and the rules. The new EPA emission standards for heavy-duty trucks covering model years 2027 through 2032 were already locked in. That the regulatory clock was ticking. That statement was factually false. Let's start with the facts. And I mean documented, sourced, verifiable facts, not opinion, facts. In February of 2026, just 2 months ago, President Trump and EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin stood together in the Roosevelt Room of the White House and finalized what the EPA itself called the single largest deregulatory action in United States history. Here's what that action did. It eliminated the Obama-era 2009 greenhouse gas mandates, and with it, every single federal greenhouse gas emission standard for vehicles and engines that came from that finding. We're talking about model years from 2012 all the way through 2027 and beyond. The EPA said that rolling back the Obama mandates will save American taxpayers about $1.3 trillion with a T, $1.3 trillion in regulatory cost overall. Now, I also pulled reporting from the Commercial Carrier Journal, one of the most respected trade publications in this industry. And here's what they also confirmed. The Biden-era Clean Trucks Act is under reconsideration. The Phase 3 greenhouse gas standards for heavy-duty vehicles is under reconsideration. The 2027 low NOx rule, under reconsideration. The regulatory clock that Yahoo Finance writer told you was ticking, that opinion piece writer obviously didn't get the memo that somebody pulled the battery out of that clock and the ticking has stopped. Now, I want to be straight with you here because that is what this channel is built on. The federal mandates being gone does not mean the story is over. There is more to this, and we're going to get to it. But first, let me tell you the 3 things about the Tesla semi-truck that Yahoo writer either buried at the bottom of the article or ignored completely. Because these three things are what every driver and every single owner-operator watching this video right now actually needs to know. First of all, the price. The Tesla semi-truck will cost you between $260,000 and $290,000. That's roughly twice the price of a comparable diesel truck in today's market. For an owner-operator already getting squeezed by fuel cost, insurance rates, broker fees, and a freight market that has been soft for the past 2 years running, that purchase price is not a speed bump. It's a concrete wall. And no amount of fuel savings down the road changes the math when you can't get financed for a truck that costs nearly $250,000 to purchase. The financial media mentioned the price once in passing and then moved on. Yahoo Financial News and other media outlets also conveniently forgot to mention the weight penalty. The Tesla semi-truck's battery system adds approximately 2,000 pounds of total weight compared to a diesel truck. 2,000 pounds. That extra 2,000 pounds you're carting around the country, but not making money on. And that's on every single load. And here's the part that article mentioned but did not dwell on. Engineers and infrastructure experts are raising serious concerns about what that additional weight will do to the roads and bridges over the course of time. Roads and bridges were never built, never designed, or engineered to handle that kind of weight from that many vehicles over time. The truck that is supposed to be the future of the freight industry might end up destroying the very highway infrastructure that the trucking industry depends on to do its job. And the people who will get blamed when a bridge gets condemned or a road gets posted no trucks allowed, truck drivers. Truck drivers always seemingly get the blame. What should be at the start and again at the end of any serious conversation when it comes to the use of electric trucks is this. And that is the fact that the charging infrastructure simply does not exist to make a move to all electric trucks. I'm not talking about a few gaps in charging station coverage on American interstates. Think about this a moment, if you will. You can't spend 3 hours at a charging station in the middle of Nebraska when you got a load due in Denver by the next morning. That is not inconvenience. That's a business-ending problem. And the article acknowledged this briefly before pivoting right back to the ho-hum optimistic investment narrative. I'm not pivoting. I am staying right here with you on this one. The highway infrastructure to go all electric is simply not there. And building will take years and billions of dollars from both private companies and the federal government to make it happen. There is no shortcut. Hey, I want to take just a second here. If it's this kind of reporting that matters to you, straight talk, verified sources, no spin, no celebrity joyrides, dressed up as interesting news, hit that subscribe button right now and ring that bell so you don't miss our next video. This channel exists for one reason and one reason only, to give professional drivers the truth that the mainstream media doesn't bother with. Please hit that subscribe button. Let's keep going now. Now, here's where I'm going to give you something the media almost never gives you. The full picture. Yes, the federal mandates are dead, but the market pressure is not. And I would be giving you a disservice if I told you otherwise. Amazon, FedEx, DHL, these are not small players. They have all made public commitments to making the switch to all electric fleets. Not because the government is forcing them to do so, but because their investors and their corporate boards are demanding it. Here's what this means to you in practical terms. If you're running freight for a major shipper, and a lot of you are, there's a real possibility that 5-10 years down the road, some of those contracts are going to come up with equipment requirements attached to them. Not a government mandate, but a shipper mandate. That's a different fight. And it's one that almost nobody in the financial media is talking about right now, because they are, in turn, writing opinion pieces meant to influence prospective investors, not for the drivers that will be locked out of certain shippers if they're running diesel, or for those drivers with electric trucks who will be forced to drive out-of-route miles just to get a recharge. Here's something else worth knowing. Commercial Carrier Journal, which is another online trucking resource, reported that several major truck and engine manufacturers confirmed they are bringing EPA 2027 compliant engines to market, regardless of whether the federal mandates still exist or not. Now, why would they be doing that, you ask? Because the engineering work is already done. Hundreds of millions of dollars have already been spent bringing this technology to market. They can't simply throw away that investment. So here's where that actually stands right now. The government got out of the way with regard to limiting regulations, but it was too late to turn back the hands of time. So the truck manufacturers kept building what they were forced to start. The big fleets kept committing. However, the dirty little secret is the charging infrastructure is still years behind. For owner-operators and small carriers, the people watching this channel, the immediate threat is being forced to purchase and use electric semi-trucks is low right now. The truth of the matter is that the purchase price of these all-electric semi-trucks is simply way too costly, and the needed electric charging infrastructure is simply not there. But the long game? Now that is what you need to be paying attention to. Now here's what I think. The Tesla semi-truck is a real truck. Jay Leno really did drive it. The battery technology is generally impressive. None of that's in dispute. But let's take a step backward and zoom out in order to see the big picture. What I see is an opinion-based reporter being paid to write an opinion piece for a very general audience and used a celebrity to test drive an all-electric truck as a hook. And along the way, got a critical regulatory fact wrong in the process. And those incorrect facts told millions of people that diesel is currently on death row by government order. The truth is much more complicated than either side really wants to admit. The mandates are gone for now. The market forces are real and growing. The electric charging infrastructure problem is genuine and unresolved. And the price tag makes adoption of an all-electric trucking industry nearly impossible for the people to actually move this country's freight. You, the driver, the owner-operator, the small carrier, you are the last person the financial media thinks to call when they write these stories. That is exactly why this channel exists. If this video gave you something the mainstream media didn't, share it with another driver that needs to hear it. Drop a comment below. I want to know what you think about the Tesla truck situation, where you think it's all heading. And if you're not subscribed yet, now is the time. Until next time, stay safe out there. Keep the shiny side up. Keep the wheels turning. Take care, my friends.